Hi folks, Josh again. This is the 10th video in our GIS overview. In this video, I'm going to show you two layers that are very related, and that is for the watershed and the subwatershed. You'll notice that my little blue and yellow circle has disappeared, and that happens sometimes when you're working with layers. So to get that back, I'm going to go back up to I12, and I'm going to re-enter Arlington Echo's address so that I can get my blue dot in, and you'll understand why that's important here in the next bit. So again, my circle's here. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'm going to go back to the layer list, and then I'm going to turn on first the watershed toggle here. And the reason that I wanted to have my circle back is that typically when you turn on the watershed layer, your label for your watershed will show up right below your yellow circle here. So as you can see, the boundary of the watershed is a magenta color here, and you can actually zoom out a little bit and it will show you your watershed boundary, which is pretty interesting. Let's see if we can find another. Yep, so you can see over here, there's a watershed boundary for the Magothy River versus the Severn, which gives you an idea of which watershed you're located in. I know a few of you folks weren't sure of how to determine which watershed you're in. So that's a really easy way that if you put in your home address into the I want to find an address and turn on this layer, you'll know where you're at. Similarly, and probably for that reason, if you turn off the watershed, you can also turn on the subwatershed toggle, and the information is loading here. It will give you the subwatershed boundaries with a little bit of a skinnier magenta line here. And keep in mind that this is also another rather large data set, so there's a little bit of loading that needs to happen. It looks like most of Arlington Echo is in one of these guys here, and an easy way to find out which one that is you hit your identify tool and you zoom into the boundary that you want to identify. I'm going to let this load for a second. And I'm going to highlight that watershed boundary. It's identifying my results over here on the left-hand side. It's taking a little bit. So it's popped out parcels, which isn't what we want. We're waiting for subwatershed to show up here, which it just did. So I'm going to click on subwatersheds, and it tells you that that is in the Severn River tidal subwatershed. You can click on that and it'll give you some more information here. It gives you the subwatershed name, then it gives you the main watershed name, and it tells you how big it is, which is pretty interesting for the information that you're getting from that subwatershed. So with that, I'm going to close out here. I'm going to go back to my layer list, and I'm going to turn off the subwatershed layer here, and that will be the end of this video.